L'Imperatore, the rise and fall of Adriano. This is the story of Adriano Leite Ribeiro, or known more commonly as just Adriano, and covers his meteoric rise to the top of football for both Brazil and Inter Milan, and his tragic decline into what would and should have been the prime years of his footballing career. It all began on the 17th of February 1982, when a boy named Adriano was born in the slums of Rio de Janeiro to mother Rosilda Ribeiro and father Almir Leite Ribeiro, a man who would have an influential effect on the young Adriano's future career. His father Almir, unlike many other families that lived in the favelas, did not turn to a life of crime, and instead chose to try and live an honest working life where he could provide for his struggling family as best he could. This led to Adriano idolizing his father in his childhood years for the support he gave to both him and his mother. His father also worked to support Adriano's dream of becoming a professional footballer, often working down to the bone in order to provide his son with opportunities in youth leagues across Brazil. Adriano, well aware of the sacrifices his father made in order for him to be given this opportunity, took it with both hands and scored prolifically in his youth. His dominance of the youth leagues led him to being signed by Brazilian giants Flamengo in 1997, where he would begin his illustrious professional career. After rising through the youth ranks of Flamengo, he was promoted to the senior side in 2000 at the age of 17. However, unlike many other players at his age, Adriano could already be described as extremely physically gifted. He possessed great pace, strength, and incredible power in his left foot, a trait that would become synonymous with him throughout the rest of his career. He would make his professional debut for Flamengo on the 2nd of February against Botafogo and score his first professional goal just 4 days later against Sao Paulo, just 11 days before his 18th birthday. After breaking into the Flamengo first team in the 2000 season, he went on to make 40 appearances across all competitions, scoring 11 goals. He also made his Brazil debut in November of that year, becoming at the time the 8th youngest appearance maker for his national team. He then went on to make 19 appearances for Flamengo in the 2001 season, scoring 5 goals, but by this stage he had attracted the attention of many European giants. Halfway through the Brazilian 2001 season, he was signed by Italian and European royalty in the form of Inter Milan. This move would not only take Adriano to the European stage, but also give him an opportunity to play with Brazilian teammate, Ballon d'Or winner and global superstar Ronaldo Nazário. Many comparisons had been made between Ronaldo and the young Adriano, with many highlighting their very similar styles as mobile yet powerful forwards, who possess great skill both when dribbling and when shooting. Adriano, who is 5 years younger than Ronaldo, was often touted as Ronaldo's long-term successor for both Inter Milan and the Brazilian national team. After arriving from Brazil at the start of the 2001-02 season, he played 14 times for the Nerazzurri, finding the net only once, and only started one game in the league. He joined Fiorentina in January on a 6-month loan after failing to make an appearance for Inter since November. However, he began to show his clear talent in Florence, where he scored 6 goals in 15 appearances for La Viola. This late season form convinced Parma to lure the young Brazilian out of Milan in a deal between Inter and Parma that involved Fabio Cannavaro heading to the San Siro. He began the 2002-03 Serie A season like a house on fire, scoring 3 goals in his first 3 league appearances for the club. He went on to score 17 goals in 31 appearances for Parma that season, cementing his place as a world-class striker at the age of just 21. He then started the 2003-04 season in similar fashion, scoring 8 goals in just 9 league appearances, before Inter returned for their generational talent. He rejoined the Milan outfit in January of 2004. He finished his 1.5-year period in Parma with 26 goals in just 44 appearances. He was also nicknamed L'Imperatore by Italian football fans, translating to the Emperor, due to his prolific form displayed in Italy. He scored 12 goals in 18 appearances for the Nerazzurri in the second half of the season preceding the 2004 Copa America. Brazil were without their talismanic superstar Ronaldo Nazario due to injury, and Adriano was expected to fill the boots of the two-time Ballon d'Or winner. However, Adriano exceeded all expectations and won the Golden Boot with 7 goals in the competition, with his 7th being a crucial injury time equaliser in the final against Argentina, taking the game into extra time as Brazil eventually won on penalties. In a post-match interview, he dedicated his goal and the win to his father. He stated that, "This title belongs to my father. He is my great friend in life, my partner. Without him, I am nothing." This quote signifies the importance of Adriano's father not just to his childhood and career in Brazil, but the continual debt that he felt he owed to his father for making his dream possible through his hard work and dedication. Unfortunately, this was the beginning of the end for Adriano. Maybe not in terms of his career, but certainly for the deterioration of his mental health. Just 9 days after the famous Copa America win against Argentina, Adriano's father passed away of a heart attack, aged just 44. A quote from Inter legend and captain Javier Zanetti describes the extent to which his father's passing affected a 22-year-old Adriano. He got a phone call from Brazil. "Adri, Dad is dead." I saw him in his room. He threw the phone and started screaming. You couldn't imagine that kind of scream. Since that day, Murati and myself watched over him as he was our little brother. He kept playing football, scoring goals and pointing to the sky, dedicating them to his father. After that phone call, nothing was the same. Ivan Cordoba spent one night with him and said, "Adri, you're a mix of Ronaldo and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Are you aware that you could become the best player ever?" We did not succeed in pulling him out of depression. Zanetti, to this day, still highlights his inability to save Adriano as the biggest regret of his illustrious career. Although the effect of his father's death did not immediately hinder Adriano's on-pitch performances, he finished the 2004-05 season at Inter with what would ultimately be his best goal return in a campaign, netting 28 times in 42 appearances for the Sansero outfit, celebrating many of those goals by dedicating them to his late father. This was as well as winning the 2005 Confederations Cup with Brazil, ultimately finishing as the top scorer with 5 goals. However, off the pitch, he began struggling with his mental health and descended into alcoholism. In the following 2005-06 season, he again had a relatively good campaign, scoring 19 goals in 47 appearances for Inter. But his mental health and alcohol struggles became increasingly evident to those around him and at the club. He began showing up to training drunk and overweight, with his behaviour at the time only tolerated due to his circumstances and his form in front of goal for the Nerazzurri. However, his on-field performances soon came crashing down. Adriano had an extremely underwhelming 2006 World Cup, in which he was surrounded by superstars such as Ronaldinho, Kaká, and Ronaldo Nazario. The toll of his life off of the pitch was finally taking effect on his on-the-pitch performances. Post the World Cup, he managed just 6 goals for Inter in the 2006-07 season, and made just 30 appearances for the club, despite no apparent injury all season. He did not start a Champions League game after October, and did not even make the matchday squad on 13 occasions in the league. Though, the situation went from bad to worse for Adriano. He only played 4 times for Inter in the 2007-08 season, in what turned out to be an absolute disaster for the Brazilian forward. Within a number of weeks, he was dropped from the national team and was sent on unpaid leave back to his native Brazil by Inter, in an attempt to motivate him to lose weight and hopefully be match fit again by January. However, this never materialised. He was allowed to join Sao Paulo on loan for the rest of the 2007-08 season, where he managed to find the back of the net on 17 occasions, but still struggled heavily in his battle with both alcohol and depression. He went back to Milan for the 2008-09 season, but returned as a shadow of his former self. He only featured 22 times for the Black and Blues that season, and was released by the club that originally took him out of Brazil and established himself as a worldwide phenomenon. He then joined his boyhood club Flamengo in May 2009 for the remainder of the Brazilian season. However, unlike his previously disappointing seasons, he guided the club to their first league title since 1982, scoring 19 goals in the process. Though this proved to be a false dawn for the now 27-year-old striker, who at the time was still heavily struggling with depression and alcoholism. Following his form in Flamengo's title-winning season, Adriano returned to Italy for the 2010-11 season, but instead for Serie A outfit Roma, who had decided to take a risk on the explosive forward as he approached what should have been the prime years of his career. The risk, however, backfired heavily, with Adriano making just 8 goalless appearances for Roma and was back in Brazil, this time with Corinthians, by March of 2011. Following his move back to Brazil, he made just 12 appearances for the rest of his career, with off-field battles now becoming the sole focus of Adriano's life. He officially hung up his boots after a short stint with NPSL club Miami United in 2016, aged 34. He played just 5 career games after the age of 30, as his interest for the sport he once loved dwindled in comparison to his love for liquor and gambling. The story of L'Imperatore is ultimately that of a tragedy. World-renowned striker and former teammate of Adriano, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, describes just what could have been. I played with great champions. I played with players that were already wow. I played with players that I saw were a talent and became wow. But the one I felt could do it longer, and he didn't do it, was Adriano when I was at Inter. He could shoot from every angle. Nobody could tackle him. Nobody could take the ball. He was a pure animal. He was touted as the heir to Ronaldo Nazario's throne, a potential Ballon d'Or winner, but due to circumstances nobody could have foreseen, the world was robbed of a generational talent in regards to Adriano. Fans alike can only dream of the heights he would have achieved had he not lost his father. To this day, he still drinks, though not as heavily as once before, and struggles with depression and his mental health. The rise to the top of the game was astonishing for L'Imperatore, but after his father's tragic death, he gave up his throne of European football for gambling and alcohol.